In the ninth inning, 8-run lead for the West as they bat here with the comfortable advantage.
Well, you're still on the mound. Yes. Or Papasakis.
Papasakis.
That's from the Brewers. That's Moliere, isn't it? Pretty sure that's the guy who was traded. No, it's Papasakis from the Brewers. I'm sorry, it is. He's not the one who got traded. He's the Brewer on the west side, and Moliere is playing for the east. So Papasakis, in his second inning of work at least.
I believe it's
because he made those couple of plays on the comebackers.
So the West with the lead, 3-0 pitch, in tight. So a leadoff walk for the West.
See, who was that who led off the inning? Number 35 from, let's see if we can figure out the Giants. Let's see if we can find out who he is real quick.
Rafael Jose, possibly?
Could be.
He got here late. You know that.
Okay, so that could be, and I want to say something very special about Rafael Jose, who emailed me today. And I know I mentioned earlier that we're going to do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge after the game. But Rafael emailed me earlier today that when they did their team budget, they must have calculated incorrectly because they wound up with a $140 surplus of team money, and he said we decided to donate that to the ALS Foundation. I said that is absolutely wonderful, and
an error. And she corrected. It was Dewallo who had the RBI triple, which knocked in the first run of the game for the West back in the fifth. He also scored in that fifth inning. He had the walk, and this was Moliere, who pitched 2 innings, and he reaches on an error here. E6.
Here's the
hit hard. Looked like it could have been a double play ball, and the shortstop, a little bit of a high hop off the edge of the grass.
Just did not get down and stay down. So
Peter Grillo.
Certainly what I'm sure what Papasakis did not need at this point. Pitching with an 8-run lead, start putting guys on base with errors.
Peter Grillo.
Said, we don't want
to
don't want to open the door to anybody.
2-0 on Grillo, so chance here for the big guy with 2 men on, 8-run lead, top of the ninth. Grillo waits, off-speed delivery, misses outside, 3-0. Again, I keep getting caught up on former players. That shot from right field, does he remind you a little of Craig Nettles? Watch the look from right field. See a little Craig Nettles, a little short swing though. That's popped up to the infield. Infield fly is called, and the put out by the shortstop. Runners advance at their own discretion, but they hold at first and second.
Number 21, Nick Mioli.
Nick Mioli from the Long Island Firebirds.
Reached on an error, his first plate appearance back in the fifth.
Now, Nick Mioli, 22 years old. He's facing George Papasakis, who is 45 years old. So twice his age.
About that.
Let's see what happens here.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Runners will advance, and coming home on the play is Dewallo. So it's now 11-2 on the wild pitch. Dewallo comes home to increase the lead to 9. Mioli from the Firebirds again, 18 and older, and
22 years old from East Meadow.
That pitch hit hard. That's into left field for a base hit. From second is Moliere, who'll go to third as Mioli greeted at first following a 1-out single. Runners at the corners, 1 run in, 1 out here in the top of the ninth, 11-2, the West in front.
So the West continues to pad that lead.
That was hit hard.
Yeah, no. Clean single to left field. Now, of course, with this big a lead, you're not going to see anybody taking extra bases.
Another pitch in the dirt. Runner advances.
Papasakis having a little trouble now with the strike zone. This is his third inning of work, I think. He certainly threw a lot of pitches in the last inning, giving up a couple of runs,
But helped himself out with great defense.
Certainly did. Pat Mancini from the Sons of the Beach.
Singled his first at bat.
Yeah, and Pat, 49 years old, so he's a youngster in the 48 and over division.
You know, but Tim, when you say that, here's a 48 and older, here's a 49-year-old, but some of these guys still want to play with the younger kids. So even though he's 49 years old, he can go out and play in the 18 and over.
He could, and there are guys. We do have guys, like I said, we have plenty of guys who play in 25 and over and 48 and over. That's not at all unusual. You do have guys who play in 18 and over and 35 and over. There are, I'd say, a few who we've had who have played 18 and over and 48 and over. You have guys playing 18 and over with their sons,
right?
and you know, move up and play with guys in their 50s. God bless them. That's one of the wonderful things about men's senior baseball. There actually is in a national tournament out in Arizona every year a father and son division.
Really?
Yes, wow. And they've had guys where it's grandfather, father, and son. They've had 3 generations on the field. That's got to be something really special. So Pat Mancini, who is a federal bail officer, interesting, went to BU College and was originally from Franklin Square.
The pitch in the dirt. Nice block there at the plate, keeping the runners at second and third, but on the ball, it's ball 4. The bases are now loaded. As Mancini at first, Mioli at second, and Moliure over at third. And I believe this is Bill Baratti, who popped out to the catcher his first at bat. Bases loaded, 1 out. Top of the 9th, 1 run across. 5 innings in a row, the West has put runs on the board. That curveball in for a strike, 1-1. Movement in the infield, breaking pitch misses high. 2-1 on Bill Baratti.
I want to compliment all our managers and assistant managers today for Baratti dunks one into left field. That'll bring in another run.
Station-to-station baseball, RBI single for Baratti, as that brings home run number 12 in Armand Moliure. Second run of the game for Moliure.
Santara Asquara,
who singled and scored back in the 6th.
He'll be the next batter for the West Division, who continue to pad that lead. Just station-to-station short base hits, short singles into the short outfield. And hit them where they ain't, kind of.
Santaro Ashwara. 1-0 the count. Breaking pitch hit into left field. That'll score another run. And again, 1 base at a time. They just keep coming. The West with another run at 13-2. Everybody getting into the action now for the West.
Come on, Joe, let's go, Joe.
Took a little while for them to get going. First 4 innings scoreless.
Yep, here's Joey Gianni, who we saw earlier. Pitched a couple of innings for the West Division.
Singled and scored his only plate appearance.
So he's let me see, how did he do pitching? He drives one.
Tough play. Short hop can't be handled by the third baseman. Another run scores. Play at the plate, cut off, throw to third, not in time. 2-run single.
Oh, and the throw gets past the third baseman. Another run is going to score. So the West they're pouring it on here in the top of the 9th.
6 runs this inning, 16-2 now, as it has just gotten all the way from the East. You started this game solid pitching through the first 4 innings, but since innings 5 through 9, not so good. A pitching change being made right now. Trying to identify the new pitcher. Number 24 for the East. Could be, is that Robert Williams from the Diamondbacks?
Looks like it. Let's see if I can find him for you real quick. What number is he wearing?
24. It looks like a Diamondbacks jersey. They
Yep.
do have another 24 on the roster in Robert Jackson from the Long Island Athletics. But obviously, that's not an athletic
no, that's
jersey.
not. No, that's a Diamondbacks jersey. Let's see if we can find him here. Here he is, Rob Williams, number 24 from the Diamondbacks.
So Williams comes in, a tough position, runner on second. 6 runs in here in the top half of the 9th inning. And the West with a 16-2 lead over the East.
So Williams coming in here with, they're looking for somebody to put out the fire here. Rob is 5'8", 170 pounds. He's an IT consultant. Lives in New York City. Originally from Hicksville. Played his high school baseball at Hicksville High School. Plays for the Diamondbacks and 35 and over division.
And Tim, when you say somebody coming in to put out the fire, I'm sure there are plenty of firemen that are in this league.
There are.
We need to find some firemen that are closers.
We do. Obviously, things got a little bit out of control here for the East Division, and it was mostly on base hits. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot.
There were a couple of errors, a couple of walks, but that one inning they just dinked the ball into the outfield. They had a couple of hits to center field, but they weren't hard hit balls off the end of the bat. And when you think about it, center field not playing very deep, yet they fell in.
Yep. They just, it's been one of those games where you can't say that the West guys have been up there crushing the ball all day. There's been a lot of hit 'em where they ain't. A couple of big hits that inning with a couple of triples. No, but at that point, it was a 3-2 ball game.
Exactly.
That was. You want to look at the Budweiser turning point of the game. It would have been the following inning when the West pushed across 3 more runs, and the East wasn't able to answer. And at that point, it kind of turned the tide, and since then it's been all the West Division offensively. It's tough to say that it's tough to say that the pitching, isn't there, because it doesn't appear that it's just not like they're hitting the ball.
No, nobody
hard.
really hit anybody hard. There were a couple of balls hit hard to left field, but and again, that was after the game was kind of
already out of
pretty much out of reach. But it wasn't like they hit 3 or 4 bombs.
No, just in that one inning, the couple of triples sandwiched around a single there, and those were well struck.
Yeah,
balls.
those were probably the 2 hardest hit balls.
Those were hard hit shots, and like I said, you don't see a lot of triples in the major leagues. You see even less here, because quite honestly, that's a lot of running.
I'm glad you said it.
Even the young guys who are in shape, that's still a lot of running.
Yeah, and the first triple went over the center fielder's head. And, again, fundamental baseball is so important that Robbie Brooks, who hit that first triple, he ran hard the minute he hit the ball.
Yeah.
Because the ball went over the center fielder's head. It didn't go all the way to the wall 410 feet away. But it was over his head, but he hustled.
Yeah,
and
he also
standing up.
He also fell between second and third. Got up. I thought at that point, he was just going to go back to second base. That would have been the normal reaction. I assume he looked, or his third base coach picked it up and realized that he had enough time to make it at the head for a slide. Anyway,
and even so on that play, the cutoff to the shortstop hesitated because I think he figured he went back to second. Next thing you know, he looks and he's at third, and the throw was a little bit offline. They probably could have gotten him at third with a good throw. And then the second triple was a hard hit ball down the right field line that went all the way into the corner.
Yep.
And obviously the throw to third from right field is so much longer on the cutoff. And that was a stand-up.
Yeah, that
triple.
was a stand-up. Yeah, that one that was a no doubt. That ball was really jacked down the line. There's no way to defense that. And when it rolls into the corner here with it being 330 down the line, that's a long way.
And the other thing too is these outfielders.
And there was a right-handed. I think that was a right-handed batter who sliced it down. I don't remember if that was a left-handed batter or not. I'm pretty sure it was a right-handed batter. Who was it who hit that triple?
It was Anthony DeWallo.
Well, that was the first.
That was the second triple.
That was the second one. Right?
That was
You're
the one
right.
that was hit.
You're right. Brooks hit the first one.
But again, down the line, hit hard, and the outfield. Again, not typical, knowing who everybody is, not knowing where your pitcher is, where your catcher's calling for the ball, where you want to position yourself defensively. They're playing pretty much straight away. So if they knew this guy was a guy who hits the ball either down the line right-hander or he's a pull hitter, defense might have shifted a little bit different. Might have been a different scenario, but you got to credit the hitter.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a big ballpark. It plays big because of the dimensions. We said it's 410 straight away and 330 down the lines. That's large. There's
Hit on
big
the
ground
ground
ball.
short, long throw, not in time, infield single for Dooley.
So no hanging down the head, Rob Dooley on this one.
And runner at second, Gianni did not advance. There he is at second base.
And he's saying, where do I have to go at this point? We're up 14.
It's almost
runs.
11 o'clock at night.
It's
I'm
almost-
tired.
Yeah,
Come on.
I got to work tomorrow.
Back to the top of the order. Third at bat for Joe Giacomantonio. Giacomantonio 0 for 1. Struck out, walked, and it drove in a run, actually forced in a run. Bases loaded walk back in the 6th inning. When the West really started opening things up, they led 3-2 heading into the top of the 6th. Plated 3 runs in that 6th inning, 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and 6 here in the 9th. Chopper towards short. The runner kind of screened the shortstop who could not come up with it. I don't know. How do we want to score that one, Timmy?
That's tough. I don't know if we're going to get a replay on that or not. I can't tell. It looks to me like
kind of blocked out a bit by the runner.
He got screened by the runner, but I think that's a play that probably should have been made. I don't know if we get the replay or not.
So we'll give him an E6.
Yeah, I think that's the right.
What do you think?
Here we go. Take a look at it. No, he's not. He should have come up with that. That's an E6. Yeah, for sure. And who we got batting now?
Gerard Pissarro.
Oh, Gerard Pissarro again. Okay. Gerard from Sons of the Beach.
So 16-2.
16-2, only one out. Bases loaded.
Foul straight back.
Pissarro is looking to pad the lead even more. At this point, you won't be seeing anybody taking extra bases, stealing or anything. This is, especially since this is an all-star game. It's almost sometimes the team, when they get a lead this big, it's almost embarrassing to score too many runs.
Lifted in the air, infield fly. Third baseman puts it away. So 2 down here in the 9th.
So that was Wheelis, a friend we talked about earlier from the Athletics, makes the play at third base there. 2 outs now.
And I believe it'll be Rios.
Alan Cub.
AD.
Number 18. A.D. Rios.
So AD, who grounded out to third, his first time up, and this is his third. I think this is his third at bat.
Had a sacrifice fly.
Right, had a sac
RBI
fly
back
and
in
an
the 6th.
RBI.
Overthrowing that ball gets past the catcher, but Johnny just kind of looks at he looks at the pitcher and says, "I'm not going anywhere."
He's tired. He pitched a couple innings. He's had a couple of at bats. He's been running the bases. He says, "We got 16 runs. It's okay. I'll stay here."
As you
Enough-
mentioned, a
enough
lot of
wear and
room
tear.
behind home plate.
Yeah, a lot of room.
Probably could have tried, but
That's one of those where
16-2.
16-2. It's okay.
I don't need it.
Nobody's going to criticize him. As Rios takes another ball in the dirt. And
2-0
Papadakis, I'm sorry, it's not Papadakis who's pitching, it's Rob Williams, right?
Right.
So Williams, who come in here and mop up, is having a tough time getting out of this inning as Rios pops one to short right field. The right fielder cannot make the play.
1 run will score. Here comes Gianni.
Finally.
Here comes the second run. It's a casual walk home.
There you go.
2 more runs, 8 runs in the inning, 9 runs in the inning, 8 runs in the inning rather, 18-2 now.
Wow. So
And they have certainly.
they credit the Rios with a base hit, I think, on that
Oh,
one.
absolutely.
And 2
2
RBIs. And here we're looking at Rob, at Tommy Foley.
42.
Giacomantonio goes to third on the play. So runners at first and third, and Rios didn't even take the extra base
No.
where he probably could have. So 18-2. You're in the 9th. That pitch hit on the ground to short. Move to Hopper, and it can't be handled by the shortstop, who in frustration just throws his glove. It's been that kind of an inning, that kind of a night.
Yeah, they used to having a rough inning here, and they're really desperate to get off the field here at this point.
Giacomo
Wow,
Antonio
William.
scores, making it 19-2.
De Capua,
From Midville Dodgers, number 17, Kevin DeCaprio.
Kevin De Capua from the Midville Dodgers.
He's
Had a
one of those
couple
players that
at-bats.
hasn't had a hit yet. You know, you almost think somebody's just going to come up and let's just end the inning.
Yeah. These guys, you know, if they haven't had a hit yet, they're still up there taking their hacks. They're not looking to end the inning. If they had a couple of hits or whatever, they're not going to care. But come on, you know, they want to look at this later on when it's on the internet for them.
And Robert Williams certainly isn't
No,
giving up on the
this will not be an inning that he wants to watch.
No, but you know he's working hard. He's not giving up here in the ninth.
No, absolutely not. I mean, none of that's, you know, these
Some of
guys
the best pitchers get shelled.
Yep.
It happens.
It does happen, and this guy, I'll hand it to Rob Williams. He's going to bulldog through this inning here, because apparently, you know, they don't have anybody else at this point.
Right. Now, you'd think of guys like David Robertson from the Yankees gave up a 3-run homer the other night to lose that game.
Yep.
To the Astros, he had a game early this year against the Twins. I believe he gave up 5 runs. Yet when you look at his overall stats, boy, you take those 2 games away, maybe one other game in there that he gave up a couple of runs, just didn't have it. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, it's, you know, again, after all, these are all human beings, they're not machines. As the Capua
He walks.
and
So now the bases are loaded. As it'll be, I believe, Murier.
Ed Murier. Eddie Murier.
He had the first hit of the game in the second inning. He's 1 for 1, also hit by a pitch and scored back in the 7th.
Now, we also, although he doesn't hit, we can talk about Eddie Lamar, who came out and threw 3 scoreless innings to start the game. You know, in a game like this, it's tough to say anybody was was a hitting star. We had a number of guys who've had base hits. I don't know if you have anybody who's had more than one, because the way they've been running the batting order, and of course that's, you know, because they want to get everybody in.
Right. That's been hard for guys.
Kozlowski and Lamar both, you know, threw up goose eggs for 3 innings, and you know, the game really was a tight game until we got into the top of the 6th.
Another chopper towards third, comes up with it, the throw across the diamond, not in time, infield single, and another run. Well, they called him out.
Well,
Yeah, I guess maybe my eyes aren't so good. My bad.
Mercifully.
My bad.
They called him out mercifully there.
But a 9-run inning for the West, 19-2. Last six. Does the East have 17 or 18 runs in them? Find out when we come back.
I'm sure there's a lot of people hoping not at this point. Oh boy, that's rough. Yeah, that was a tough inning. I hate to see that. Hate to see that happen at the end of the game, especially it's getting on now a little past 11 o'clock.
No, that's good.
No, that was
You had
killer.
minutes in. So Molly has 1 for 2, single, reach on there. RBI, stolen base, 2 runs, and he pitched 2 scoreless innings.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I think, you know, in this game, so many guys, I think he's got to be there.
And Eddie Cantor's warming up Jay McAndrews. They're teammates.
Is he using a glove?
But
Okay.
I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he is, yeah. Eddie, who's
How old is Eddie?
Eddie is, I think he turned, no, I think Eddie turned 60 this year.
He did.
Yeah, or he might be 61. I know
What
his
position does he
birthday.
play? He
Eddie,
manages, right?
no, Eddie doesn't manage. No, Eddie plays shortstop, second base, third base. He can catch.
He's still in great shape.
Oh yeah, Eddie. I know Eddie for 25 years. I don't think Eddie's gained a pound in 25 years. He plays golf, plays baseball. He's one of those guys who's just, he's just a natural athlete, and really, and I've seen him eat like
Coming up, the legend.
large amounts of food. I mean, it's amazing how he doesn't gain a pound.
Jerry Dilliverde.
So Jerry Deliberti,
Hang on a second.
be his third at bat.
We head to the bottom of the ninth. Jerry Diliberti to lead things off in the East, trailing 19-2. They have it in them.
McAndrews in his third inning of work here, and again talking about this situation. All he wants to do here
Throw strikes.
is throw strikes, put the ball in play, let the defense make the plays, don't walk anybody. You get strike one to Diliberti.
And we mentioned between innings, McAndrew getting warmed up. Who was he throwing to?
He was throwing to Ed Cantor.
There you go.
Assistant commissioner, there's a comebacker. That's an easy, quick out to start the inning. 1-2, 1-3 from McAndrews to McGee at
The
first base.
Orioles.
So 1 away. Pat Fitzgerald.
Pat
Rounded out the
Fitzgerald
short as first at bat.
from the Oreos, the cookies with the cream center. The Long Island Oreos. The Long Island Orioles. And see if we can find something on Mr. Fitzgerald real quick. McAndrews is also working the way you're supposed to work with a 17-run lead. You get the ball and throw it. He is not waiting, and it's also pitchers who do that. When the hitters let them do that, let the pitcher dictate the tempo, you know.
Back up the middle. That might squeak through for a base hit, and it does. So a one-out single by Fitzgerald. Now, that's one of the issues right now, Major League Baseball, with the new commissioner, Rob Manfred, talking about some of the things. I'm not going to say it right now with Thanksgiving still in the office, but everybody talking about the pace of play and about having a clock.
The average game takes
Over
3
hours.
plus hours, and the average game time has increased something like 45 minutes in the last 20 years, which is an insane amount of time. The Yankees, I know yesterday we talked about between
2
break,
hours, was it?
play 2 hours and 7 minute game.
2:07.
2:07. But that's probably, you know, one of the shortest games you're going to see this season. But when you go to a game, or if you watch a whole game on TV, you can understand, because batters step out between every pitch to readjust their batting gloves and their helmets and their whatever. And there is a rule, it's just not enforced.
It's never been enforced.
The rule about how
I
long
believe it's 12 seconds.
yeah, there is a very specific amount of time, and
Never
the rule is never enforced. If they would enforce that rule, you know, that would help. But
The question is, you know, when the batters step out, as that ball's hit in the hole between first and second, on his way to third, it's Fitzgerald. He took second on defensive indifference, so he did not get credit for the stolen base. He moves to third, so runners at the corners.
do they have a 17-run rally in them?
I said, you know, with one down, no less.
There's one down.
33.
Men on first and third.
Justin Rampell coming up. But what I was saying with the pitch count and stuff, as you mentioned, you know, batters step out. They want to alter the rhythm of the pitcher.
Yep.
If the pitcher's getting in a rhythm and he's finding his corners, you want to change that pace, and that would be taken away, and the batters would have the advantages, and then maybe there'd be more runs, and still the games might take a long period of time, or it may actually help. But I always go back to when I was a kid growing up, the human rain delay, Mike Hargrove.
Right.
After every pitch, the batting gloves. He was probably the first guy who really did a lot of that. Then you had guys like Nomar Garciaparra from the
Nomar
Red Sox. He
Garciaparra,
started
yeah.
doing that,
Mm-hmm.
taking all that time in between pitches. Ground ball, nice fielder's choice turn from second to short for the fielder's choice. A run scores, making it 19-3. But there's 2 down and a runner on first as Rampell reaches. Fielder's choice RBI for Rampell. And down to the final out.
One of the other things that's added time is pitchers no longer throw complete games as a regular
It's a 6
matter
inning
of
game.
course. So every pitching change, and it's not unusual for in a regular game, so to speak, for teams to use 4 or 5 pitchers. The situational changes. So every pitching change adds, you know, a
Time to the
significant
game,
amount of
sure.
time, and then of course, television, as we're going to see, I think.
Nice play,
Oh,
thrown
no.
away
Oh, I
as
thought
Kevin
that was,
Clouth reaches.
I thought that was going to finish the inning
On
and the game. It's prolonged a little bit longer there. That's
Clouth.
Clouth
That was Kevin
is
Clouth.
on from the Diamondbacks.
And now Artie Johnson should be coming to the plate. He reached on an error and scored the first run of the game off of
Yep, that is
Dave
Artie-
Terracciano back
Artie
in the
Johnson
4th
coming
inning.
up.
So just
2
to close the
outs.
books on that, I think the idea of the pitch count, it's kind of a good idea to speed up the game, but it does take away, I think, from a pitcher from a batter rather,
20.
and a pitcher trying to get into a rhythm that the batter can't take the pitcher out of a certain rhythm. But if he's going bad, kind of works opposite. So maybe it's just a flip of the coin right now.
Artie Johnson, who's in the maintenance department of the Great Neck School System, works around Great Neck South, manages his own team, plays for the Long Island Cubs in 48 and over as well. Been in the league for about a dozen years.
Down to their final out, count 1-1.
But just to finish that thought also, television plays a big role in the amount of time, because if you count the number of station breaks, commercial, and so on that are
All adds
inserted,
up.
yeah, and that's, you know, that's 20 minutes plus worth of time. You look at a game like this here, there's 19-3. We've played it in 3 hours and 10 minutes, but that is attributable to the number of runs scored.
Punched out towards second base, can't be handled. And the base is now loaded. Is the East still alive, trailing by 16 with 2 outs here in the ninth.
And Jay McAndrews is saying to himself, okay, I've made 5 pitches to the last 5 batters, and they were all, you know, hit about 87 feet.
And look where I am.
And look where I am. So I still have a comfortable lead and 2 outs, but I got the bases loaded.
Frank Esposito.
Frankie Esposito.
From the Tigers, last chance.
You never know.
McAndrew fires, missing on the outside corner.
Frankie Esposito, 51 years old. He's a banker from East Setauket, who grew up in Queens.
Strike zone seems to be widening late in the game. 0-2 now on Esposito. East down to their final strike.
Espo not happy with that ball there.
Esposito
I can't imagine, but this is late in the day, late in the game. McAndrews
down low.
Down low.
1-2. McAndrews working quickly. Esposito.
He's not stepping out of the box. He's hanging right in there.
Swung on, foul tipped into the glove of the catcher,
and
this game is over as the West All-Stars, a very impressive victory in a game that was scoreless through the first 3.5 innings. It was 1-0 after 4, but in the final 5 innings, the West comes through with 19 runs. They beat the East All-Stars 19-3. We'll take a break. Back with the MVP of today's contest, and we'll wrap this puppy up from SUNY Old Westbury. Come on back. Back at SUNY Old Westbury, Hal Sass, Tim Hott, joined by the MVP in today's game, and Armand Muller, who had a fantastic game and a 19-3 victory for the West squad. And Tim, I know you don't have the trophy in your hand to give to our MVP, but make the presentation.
No, but hearty
anyway.
Congratulations to Armand, who is a rookie this year. Joined the Long Island Brewers. Was coached by Joe DeFrancis. He just won the 35 and over championship, right?
Yes, sir.
In the American division. So that's a real nice accomplishment as a rookie. And to win MVP in the All-Star game, first time out. Yeah, that's very impressive. I hope that's a sign of a long career here with Long Island Midweek.
I hope so. I just got to stay in shape. You know, 35. It's to me, age is catching up to me.
Well, take it from me. What you got to do is think about this. There's no off season.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
The thing about Armand is that he's in this league in Long Island for the first year, New York City policeman, and you said, you know, you were told, hey, there's a league on Long Island, I want to get involved with it. Tell me how that all came about.
When I was playing on the New York City Police Department team for a long time, and a buddy of mine, Vic Lara, asked me to join Joe DeFrancis' team. So I asked Vic if he would have me. I pitched against the Padres, 2-hit shutout, and Joe was like, no problem, he's on the team.
Now,
pitching, it's all about the pitching, right?
And apparently the New York City Police Department team, they only want you to pitch. So you came out today, you come out, you pitched 2 innings of runless baseball. I mean, what was it like, your first appearance in the All-Star game?
Oh, it was great. The atmosphere was great. The people were great. You guys put on a great presentation for us, you know. Tip my hat to that.
And let's talk about the game here. It was a scoreless game through the bottom of the 4th inning. The East puts a run across the board. You're down 1-0. All of a sudden, the 5th inning comes, and just the offense just came alive. With a team of all-stars getting together, how does something like that happen?
I don't know. We let up that inning down 1-0. Gentleman got on. He got a double, got over the 3rd, and I remember telling the coach, he's going to score. I got lucky. He hung me a curveball, and I hit it.
When you look at your stat line, so you had 2 innings pitched without giving up a run. 1 for 2, a single, an RBI, a stolen base,
right?
Reach on an error, score 2 runs. I mean, that's a pretty busy stat sheet for a guy coming out from Queens. Actually, Brooklyn, I should say, Beirut.
I got lucky.
Well, you got to remember, we had a lot of guys hitting. They both teams, used the batting order where they had 15, 16 guys between at bats. So the amount of times that Armand gets to come up, is a long distance. That's tougher sometimes as a hitter, instead of getting up every third inning to get up every fifth inning. But apparently it didn't bother him.
So
It certainly didn't bother him pitching.
So let's just try to recap this first season here in midweek baseball. I mean, you had a great first season, 35 and older. Talk about the competition. Talk about the Brewers, who had a really good season, and just kind of where you look at things moving forward.
The Brewers this season was great. I mean, we had my buddy Q. He's one of the starters on the Brewers. Him and I mean, I think we went 20-1, and I had the only loss. I had a bad day, and everyone stays in shape. The whole team, we all work together. We click. Everyone's on the same page, and we got a good manager.
Well, congratulations on the victory today,
Thank you,
the MVP in today's game.
Thank you.
Tim will definitely get you some
Great
hardware to
job,
put on your
Armand.
mantle.
Really, a
And
pleasure having you.
congratulations.
Hope to have you back for many years.
I hope so. I hope
right.
so. Thanks to you guys.
Have a great fall, too.
All right, Timmy Hott, listen, this one back for yet another year, and we kind of expected coming in, we figured we'd see good pitching. We saw that through the first 3.5 innings, and then all of a sudden the offenses for both teams woke up in the middle of the game, but the West offense, they just put things together. They didn't really hit the ball too hard, but they found the seams.
The one inning when they scored a couple of 3 runs, when they went ahead 3-1, there were a couple of well hit balls, a couple of triples and Armand single sandwich in there. That was the most we saw in the way of power. The rest of it really was hit them where they ain't kind of baseball. Nothing too hard, but boy, there was a whole lot of stuff that went through. And then, of course, there was one inning there that just got completely out of hand, and that when the West put it way out of control.
And I think the cool thing, too, this year, using all the different divisions, coming together, 18 and over, 25 and older, 35 and older, 48 and older. It was a fun night, I think.
It was, and I think the guys, as Armand said, they get a real kick out of this. We try to put on a show for them. They put on a show for us. It's really entertaining on both sides. I hope everybody out there gets a chance to see this, enjoys it as well.
So another All-Star game in the book. The West All-Stars come away with a victory, 19-3 over the East. For Tim Hott, I'm Hal Sass. Thanks for watching Long Island Midweek Baseball. We'll see you next year. So long, everybody.